Namaskaram, I'm D. Ghoshal. In the quiet of a moonlit night, as the world slept, I found myself immersed in the harsh reality of international news. The crisis in Gaza unfolded before me, and the weight of a innocent life lost weighed heavily on my heart. This video, born out of a genuine passion to comprehend the complexities of our world, is not the voice of an orator or a celebrity. I'm not that. I'm just an ordinary individual driven by a desire to express the humanity that still exists in a world overshadowed by conflict. Graphic visuals, those I have seen, was so disturbing that it revisited in my sleep time again and again, and I could not sleep, thinking some children could be trapped under the rubble in darkness, in half-dead conditions, panting for water. Seeing my condition, my wife strongly advised me not to watch such news anymore. But irrespective of the fact whether I watch this kind of news or not, such massacre will continue to happen. Then do something about it, she said. What really can I do? He asked her. She said, since you watch YouTube news so much, express your humanity in YouTube channel itself. It may be the smallest way to express that humanity still exists in this world. Hardly anybody will watch my video. I voiced my doubt. It doesn't matter, she said. I said that I'm not like Sadhguru or Arnold Schwarzenegger, that if I say something, thousands of people will watch. She said in ancient times, even if the great mind used to speak, there would have been only a few people to listen to that. Moreover, number of huge viewership does not really indicate the quality of the content. Most of the time, vulgar videos attract millions of views. Definitely she is right, and her such encouragement propelled me to make this video. In a small way, I would like to express my original thoughts regarding solution functionality as to what kind of mechanism humanity should adopt so that humanity can live in harmony and approximate the ideals of good life in individual life and the life of the community of which we are also members. In a world marked by crises, the quest for truth and humanity becomes paramount. And through this video, I hope to contribute, even if in a small way, to some dialogues surrounding solutions and the path our civilization should tread. Please join me in this journey as we navigate the complexities of our world with empathy, understanding, and a shared commitment to a better future. In contemplating the Palestine-Israel conflict, it becomes evident that it is not an isolated incident, but rather reflections of a world facing a crisis of civilization. But understanding the intricate interplay of historical, cultural, geopolitical, and humanitarian factors, we can strive for a more comprehensive approach to conflict resolution, addressing the root causes and envisioning a future where peaceful coexistence prevails over perpetual strife. As I embark on this analysis, I'm compelled to explore fundamental aspects of humanity that hold scientific validity. It's essential to acknowledge that human beings lack intrinsic identities such as Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or Jews. These identities, constructed over maybe less than past 5,000 years, within the 6 million years of history of human evolution in Homo erectus condition. This represents a mere 72 seconds in the metaphorical day of our existence. Originating from Africa, we are all fundamentally Afrikaners, and the notion of race is a social construct. Scientifically, humans share an almost identical genetic code, rendering division based on caste, creed, or religiosity purely social phenomena rather than biological fact. We are at our core the same, originating from a shared art composed of the basic five elements like what you call Khiti, Abba, Teja, Marad, Bum in Hindu scripture, which means earth, water, fire, air, sky. These are the five elements. The belief in racial superiority is unfounded, as statistically the probability of genius is evenly distributed across the global population. Historical examples affirm the malleability of destiny, like Singapore once deemed an insignificant porous land, now boasts the world's most open economy. It is ranking among the least corrupt with the highest per capita GDP. Similarly, China, once grappling with opium addiction, has transformed into the world's largest manufacturing economy, uplifting millions from the economic depravity to economic well-being, which is not a very small thing. The concept of a nation, I argue, is artificial and imagined. Rabindranath Tagore criticized nationalism as a cruel epidemic of evil. Although Rishi Aurobindo acknowledged the existence of a national spirit fostered by common enthusiasm and interest. Moving to the Israel-Palestine conflict, I advocate understanding it beyond religiosity or simplistic notions of terrorism. This geopolitical struggle has deep historical, cultural, and resource-related roots entwined with religious factors. From the Zionist movements in the late 19th century to the 1948 Arab-Israeli War and the subsequent conflicts like the 1967 Six-Day War, the region has faced ongoing tensions for a long time. Despite attempts like the Oslo Accords in 1993, a lasting solution remains elusive, underscoring the complex and contentious nature of this problem for the long time. Continuing with the analysis of the Israel-Gaza conflict, it becomes imperative to delve into the semantics surrounding terrorism. Terrorism, defined as the calculated use of violence to instill fear and achieve political objective. It is a term that necessitates nuanced understanding in the context of the complex conflict. In my research, I found that Hamas, a political party democratically elected by the people of the Gaza, is known for its armed resistance against Israel. Applying this definition, Hamas fits into this criteria of terrorism. However, it is crucial to ponder whether Israel's retaliation involves disproportionate terrorism or not, considering the ongoing events and the definition provided. Examining the objectives behind specific acts, such as October 7 terrorist attack, Hamas may seek to internationalize the Gaza crisis, emphasizing its status as the largest open-air jail globally. A secondary objective could be a prisoner exchange. Israel's declared goal of exterminating Hamas raises ethical concerns. The methodology employed, indiscriminate and the carpet bombing of the Gaza, resulting in civilian massacres, reflects a chilling approach. It appears that Israel's unstated objective is to terrorize Hamas and the Gaza population with a callous disregard for the world populations, particularly from the Arab world. And it relies on the backing of the United States that we all know. As someone who does not align with any particular religion, I approach this war from a neutral perspective. Common sense leads to the realization that Hamas cannot be eradicated through indiscriminate killing, as they are embedded within the population. Israel's targeting of non-military sites, including hospitals, schools, churches, mosques, even ambulances, violates the Geneva Convention and constitutes war crimes. No doubt about that point. The war waged by Israel, given its indiscriminate targeting of the civilians, can itself be viewed as a crime. Reflecting on my personal feelings, I share a deep admiration from the Jewish people, rooted in their indomitable spirit and the immense sufferings they endured during Nazi Holocaust. My admiration stemmed from the fact that the Jewish people value education so much so that 22% of all Nobel laureates are Jews or they are raised Jew. Greatest personalities like Albert Einstein, Karl Marx, Sigmund Freud, Woody Allen, Ludwig Wittgenstein, and my favorite singer like Neil Diamond are all Jews. However, witnessing Israel's inhuman tactics to achieve political goals, such as bombing hospitals and depriving people of basic necessities like food and water, is really disheartening. Despite the historical persecution of their forefathers, compassion seems lost in the relentless pursuit for resources. Learning from history, it becomes evident that hate and bombing will not eliminate Hamas at all. You may kill so-called terrorists as the aftermath of the devastation, but another set of people who are sufferers will once again emerge as terrorists. The alternative path, one of the building more hospitals, schools, gardens in the settlement, and fostering compassion through gesture like raining chocolates for children and flowers for caring mothers instead of raining bombs on them, could rather render terrorism and the Hamas insignificant. We hear that US is spending 18 billion USD for making a single bomb. I'm just thinking how countries in Africa could have been provided education to children in their countries if this money would have been spent for that purpose. Sadhguru has profoundly said that we do not have any intention to stop the war, since war is a business for countries supplying arms. And he's so right, I fully see eye to eye with him. On one hand, we want this killing business to continue. On another hand, we wear the mask of civilization as if we are feeling sad about the killing. In fact, really don't feel anything of that sort. In the wise words of Sir Arnold Schwarzenegger, no great achievement can arise from movements fueled by hate. History teaches us that hate-driven movements, be it Nazi movement, the Confederacy movement, Pol Pot movement, or any conversion movement based on hate and others, ultimately fail. History shows it. The enduring words of a great soul, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, still resonate through history, reminding us the enduring power of the forgiveness and understanding even after 2000 years. Continuing the exploration of the Israel-Hamas conflict is crucial to address differing perspectives among analysts, some attributing the strife to religious extremism and the reluctance of militant Muslim groups to acknowledge Israel's existence. However, I diverge from this radical thought process, asserting that the primary driver of this perpetual violence is the struggle for resources. Historical facts reveal Israel as an occupying force in Palestine, while geographical arrangement post 1967 war acknowledge Israel's existence, labeling the entire population of the Gaza as an enemy territory oversimplifies a complex governance structure where Hamas holds the control. Gaza, once part of the Mandate Palestine, became the world's largest open-air prison after its capture by Israel in 1967. While Hamas is a democratically elected entity, I do not really endorse their military or terrorist activity that harms civilians. Simultaneously, Israel's bombing, especially of the hospitals, churches, and the mosques, constitute terrorist crimes. Mainstream narratives often cloud humanity, fostering parochial and the racist thought processes. Since 2007, Israel's blockade on Gaza Strip, justified as a defense against Hamas attacks, has turned the region into a heavily restricted zone surrounded by the concrete walls and the barbed wire fences, severely limiting the movement of Palestinians. This war is shrouded in disinformation campaigns, and it is important to urge caution against jumping to conclusions based on unverified content. The media's attribution bias fuels polarization and scapegoating, emphasizing the need to focus on the broader crisis of humanity in this region. Nietzsche's cautionary words resonate, fighting monsters without becoming one ourselves. History warns of destructive consequences of nurturing hate, and the embracing others instead of imposing beliefs offers rather a unique path that doesn't necessitate violence. The Israel-Palestine conflict defies simplistic categorizations of terrorist or anti-terrorist diatribes. It's a geopolitical issue shaped by historical, cultural, and religious factors. Despite international efforts like the Oslo Accords, a lasting resolution remains elusive. Responsibility for the Israel-Gaza war, according to Haaretz lead editorial is attributed to Netanyahu, who ignored Palestinian existence and rights. The complexities of the century-long Israel-Palestine issue extend beyond recent events, requiring a nuanced approach to understand the broader context. In 2021, an internationally condemned attack on a mosque by Israel underscores the multifaceted nature of the conflict. Forced separation within their own country and parallels to the historical injustices highlight the intricacies of Israel-Palestine issue, urging a comprehensive perspective beyond specific incidents. Samuel P. Huntington's Clash of Civilization thesis posits that post-Cold War conflicts will be rooted in cultural and religious identities. Wars are predicted to be between cultures rather than nations, outlined in his lecture during 92-93 Foreign Affairs articles. Huntington identifies major civilizations like Hindu, Islamic, Sub-Saharan African, Western, Latin American, etc. And he predicts conflicts along their fault lines. He argues that the West's attempt to universalize these values may lead to clashes with other civilizations. Huntington discusses potential conflicts between the West and non-Western civilization, which may lead to economic regionalism. In our exploration of the Palestine-Israel conflict, we delved into the broader challenges surrounding the truth, geopolitics, humanitarian impact, and the global power dynamics. We examined historical perspectives on conflicts, identity, nationalism, and the actions of Hamas and Israel, including the violation of the Geneva Convention. As we navigate the complex tapestry of conflicts in Palestine-Israel, a critical aspect to examine is the debate around Israel's status as an occupying force. Some argue, particularly certain Jewish scholars, that the Jews are the original inhabitants of Palestine. However, historical facts reveal the repeated conquests of this region by various forces throughout the time. The claim to this land based on habitat thousands of years ago lacks logical grounding. Nevertheless, it is a historical reality that Israel exists in this part of this world, and they are established alongside Palestine through the UN resolution of 1948. Forcefully displacing long-term inhabitants contradicts the international law. A major concern emerges when assessing civilian casualties in Gaza during conflicts with Hamas. The scale of bombings equivalent to more than 2 Hiroshima nuclear bombs raises questions about the characterization of the collateral damage. This could be viewed as a genocide in the guise of a war against Hamas, making an unprecedented level of brutality and the civilian massacre that has been witnessed in our modern world. The video underscores the urgency of Israel to halt such genocide, not only for the well-being of the region, but also in its own interest. Continuing down this path risks backlash, potentially leading to the destruction of Israel and involving major global powers. One critical point to note is that unity among the Arab nations rallying for a humanitarian ceasefire is growing. Failure to exercise prudence may propel the world into greater conflicts with involvement from the major powers such as USA, Iran, Turkey, and possibly Russia and China, as analyzed by Colonel Douglas MacGregor. While I am cautious about relying too much on prophecies, it is intriguing to observe the converging warnings from figures like Baba Vanga, Elias Elmeyer, Elena Ailo, Hamilton Parker, Nostradamus, and so on, and many other scriptures also. Regardless of the belief, these prophecies serve as a cautionary signals urging our civilization to make necessary course corrections. In line with the Vedantic philosophy, acknowledging a higher intelligence prevailing in creation becomes essential. The unknown dimension of this intelligence might transcend our understanding, possibly analogous to quantum computing as described by Michio Kaku. Considering karmic equation evident in civilizational history, we hope that Israel, as a significant power, embraces greater responsibilities and walks the path of righteousness and justice. Now, let's broaden our perspective to understand the crisis of civilization with the context of global power dynamics, humanitarian impact, and media influence. Huntington's Clash of Civilizations thesis predicts post-war conflicts rooted in cultural and religious identities that we have already mentioned. Now, there is a criticism of Huntington's thesis, including challenges to its empirical and historical foundation. An alternative concept, the dialogue among civilization, emphasizes understanding and cooperation, and my solution will be based on this specific concept. Now, let's explore a solution that aligns with the dialogue among civilizations to address conflicts globally, considering the limitations of United Nations. The UN Security Council, responsible for international peace, faces challenges due to the veto power of its 5 permanent members. This power, coupled with limited enforcement capacity and the political divisions, hampers effective conflict resolutions, and UN is powerless in this respect. Recognizing the limitations, my proposed solution involves leveraging the expertise of great minds worldwide. Maybe social media, in collaboration with humanitarian organizations, will nominate individuals with proven records of spirituality and humanity. These figures will participate in a global debate proposing solutions to United Nations with decisions which may be binding and replacing the veto power in extraordinary circumstances. Will it happen tomorrow? Definitely not. But such thought process is necessary so that people with humanitarian approach should have a better say rather than the politician who only focus on the narrow interest of a nation. This approach seeks to establish broader humanitarian interest over narrow political wills. For example, avoiding conflict situation by prioritizing peace over political interest. In conclusion, the proposed mechanism empowers the UN to implement decisions in the greater interest of humanity, fostering global cooperation and avoiding needless conflicts. Thank you so much for your attention.